What are the best historically accurate materials for old Scandinavian homes? Imagine stepping into a house that feels like it's part of the landscape, built with materials that have stood the test of time. That's the beauty of old Scandinavian homes. To keep that authenticity alive, it's essential to use the right materials. Historically, these buildings relied on what was readily available in the region. Wood was king because Scandinavia was covered in dense forests. Builders used softwoods like pine and spruce for walls and framing. They often crafted round or hewn logs, fitting them together with notches at the corners to make sturdy, weather-resistant structures. Later on, timber framing with planks and wooden shingles for roofs became common, showcasing skilled craftsmanship. To protect these wooden surfaces from rain and rot, natural paints made from earth pigments were applied. These paints helped preserve the wood for centuries. Turf and peat were also vital, especially in Iceland and parts of Norway. Homes built with wooden frames were covered with thick turf or peat blocks, sometimes arranged in patterns like herringbone. Turf provided excellent insulation against the cold, which was crucial in harsh Nordic winters. The roofs often had layers of birch bark underneath the turf to keep water out. In areas where timber was scarce or expensive, turf houses were a practical choice. They blended seamlessly into the landscape and kept homes warm. Stone was mainly used for foundations to keep the structures stable and dry. Flat stones were laid to prevent ground moisture from seeping in. Sometimes, stones were used for walls and from buildings or more permanent homes, especially in regions with abundant stone. Clay was also used in some rural buildings through a method called wattle and daub. Woven wooden strips, called wattle, were coated with a mixture of clay, straw, and sometimes animal dung. This created insulated walls that kept homes warm. Restoring these historic buildings today involves using these same materials and techniques. For example, hand-hewn logs with traditional notching can be used to rebuild walls. Turf roofs can be restored with layers of grass and birch bark. Natural earth-based paints can be applied to wooden exteriors to protect and preserve the authenticity. In the end, the best materials for old Scandinavian homes are those that come from the land itself: timber, turf, stone, and clay. They tell the story of how people adapted to their environment and built homes that lasted for generations. Using these materials in preservation efforts keeps the true spirit of Scandinavian architecture alive.